Delving more into this, we're now joined from Beirut by Mr. Nahi Jubran, the military and strategic expert, and also Mr. Ali Hammoud, the political analyst and expert in international relations. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. First off, Mr. Hammoud, after Netanyahu's confirmation of the assassination of Hashim Safieddin, the likely successor of former Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, how would this assassination affect Hezbollah? Does it affect the structure of it or not at all?
Thank you for having me in your program. If we talk about assassination and targeting progress, we must have a look on a book in 2018 for Ronan Bergnen. It's about the name of the book is Rise and Kill First. This is explaining the secret of the history of the assassination of Israel, or before even the creation, or before this entity was founded in 1948. And this assassination, it's targeting a leader of inside Palestine and in the Middle East, and it gave a word definition of assassination. So if we talk about groups, Hezbollah organization, targeting groups, leaders has failed to win. Has failed to win Israel a significant advantage strategic. That's why now Netanyahu went to another method. We call it fatal blow. So if we talk about the group of Hezbollah, especially since 1992, when Israeli helicopter struck the convoy of al-Musawi, the Secretary General, in 1992. At that time, Israeli, they thought it was the port end of Hezbollah, but it was especially at that time Hezbollah, it was founded earlier, 10 years after the assassination of the Secretary General al-Musawi. Okay, later on we found the opposite, and the truth, it was opposite what the Mossad been thinking of their strategic advantage. And after al-Musawi, it was succeeded by a 31 years old Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah, who lead and build Hezbollah for around 3 decades. And we know, all of us, it was about 2 weeks ago, and Friday, in the headquarters, subterranean, I think 80 ton or 83 ton of missiles hit the headquarters of where is the place of Nasrallah. And following the echelon, normally maybe it will be the Vice Secretary General, he'll take his place, or his cousin, which all information said he's prepared since 1994 to take his place, Hashim Safieddin.
So do these, Mr. Hammoud, do these assassinations actually affect the structure of Hezbollah?
Hezbollah having a robust institution, and it's easy to replace the leaders and the senior leaders. Okay, so that's why, for my analysis, I think at the upper echelon, even if it will never affect the organization of Hezbollah, because Nasrallah embed in the society and in the Shia society, and provide not only motivation and even and strong feelings to the population, and especially the Shia group in Lebanon. Also, it's to provide a big armed force. So this organization, we mustn't underestimate it
Yes.
because of a
Well,
week
pardon
of
me now,
heavy
Mr.
strikes from Netanyahus.
Yes, I'll go to Mr. Gibran now. Sir, why did Israel intensify the implementation of the assassination policy, in specific targeting the Hamas and Hezbollah leaders after October 7th?
Good evening. Thank you for having me. First of all, the definition of the assassination is a murder of the opponent or a well-known figure. So it's a crime. Going further, this type of war is not new for Israel. Historically, they did it many times, as you mentioned before. And the most famous one is assassination of their own Prime Minister, Rabin, in the 90s, after Oslo agreement. So this is, and in the past there were many assassination among the whole countries of the world. Returning to the Middle East here, I think to do this job, you have to plan or to have a good planning for years. You have to use the intelligence to gather information, and you need this. They talk now about the golden information or golden moment. So, and I think you need the political decision. Now, I think strategically, because they have somehow a low cost. It means that they don't have to lose many of their soldiers or their materials against the opponent. But when you do an assassination, and it will cost you maybe 80 tons of explosives, and the next one is about 73 tons of explosives, there is a big question mark about the financial issue and the economic issue.
Well, Mr. Hammoud, do you think that Netanyahu's use of such a policy, does it achieve more security for Israel? Is it a tool for maintaining his position in the cabinet?
In reality, if we talk about the targeting program assassination, like I said, it started before the creation, unfolded of this entity. In 2004, it was the assassination of the key founder of Hamas, Sheikh Ahmad Yassin, and the other followers, his name Rantisi. Okay, and still Hamas is operating more than before. In 1972, Ehud Barak assassinated one of the PLO leaders in Beirut, and still the PLO exists. You know, for me, assassination, it's not really, it's not helping the opponent or the adversary to achieve his goals, but it's a matter of delaying the programs. It's a matter like what happened in France and Saint Reno, when France at that time used to deliver a reactor to Iraq, and the Mossad, they used two ladies, to blast a company named CNIM in France, and it caused to delay the program of the reactor on Iraq. So the assassination, it's a time of like what Ronan Bergman said in his book, it's like a changer or something like you change what you call it, creating paranoia for the community, making some division or rebellion in the country. But the pressing question is whether the assassination of the group leaders or the senior leaders and the groups of figures, the senior figures of Hezbollah, diminished the job or the ability or the capability of Hezbollah. I think this is the main two questions. It's for me, it's not because if we see the fire rockets still going on, but now the approach or the replacement, the replacement of the senior leaders and the senior figures of Hezbollah will share the same attitude, the same approach, in especially in waging and employing the missiles. Especially up to now, they didn't use the precision of guided missiles. Still, they are using the old missile. This is one of the main questions. The second question, did Hezbollah will use the rational logic continue to prevail, or maybe with Tehran and Hezbollah ensuring the vengeful and the angry will never, for example, make the escalation more, and Hezbollah will use the guided missiles, and the war, it will be regional war. This is all question. It's on the table because we are open on many scenarios. But
well, Mr. Gibran, yes, well, Mr. Gibran, now if the leaders and figures can be replaced, now what are these strategic and military goals does the assassination policy seek to achieve? Are they just goals of delaying the progress of the reaction of Hezbollah, as Mr. Hammoud has mentioned, or are there higher goals to achieve by this policy?
I think they are aiming off the center of gravity of the resistance forces, which is for sure, their leaders are the center of gravity, especially for the passing 30 years ago. He was the one and only. But now, like you have said, and about this organization, is always there is another leader. In fact, they hit the Lebanese resistance hardly because they hit the command and control, we call it, in military expression, and the communication. And all military groups or armies are based on three strategic elements, let's say. Command and control first, the fighting units on the ground, and the logistics. Now, I think the fighting units on the ground are doing a great job because we cannot do that in the air. There is a supremacy of in air and in the sea, but I think we have an advantage on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Hammoud, now, what are the reasons for Netanyahu deciding to give an address to address the Lebanese people after declaring the assassination of Safieddin? Is it merely to spread paranoia and havoc, as you've mentioned, or is there a higher motive for it?
Normally, it's to create a rebellion inside the Lebanese community. And when we saw Netanyahu before at the United Nations headquarters in New York, how he was talking with arrogance, and now he's trying to address his speech or discourse to the Lebanese people because of the strikes and fire rockets hitting or striking Haifa 2 days ago. And that's in reality, okay, Hezbollah, he succeeded to displace tens of thousands of settlements from north to the middle, even to Haifa. It's around 60 kilometers from the border with Lebanon, and even to places farther more than Haifa is to Tel Aviv. So in reality, up to now, Hezbollah not using his arsenal or his heavy weapons and arsenal, and we saw a tens of thousands of displacement settlement left north of Israel, north of occupied Palestine. So I think still the chain of command and control, okay, with the leaders or the senior leaders or the senior figures that replaced the assassinated senior leaders or senior figures. So I think Hezbollah having the control of the war and of waging and employing what is necessary in the war and what kind of precision and guided missiles, okay, will used following the situation. So that's why we cannot underestimate today Hezbollah, and Hezbollah is still strong, and he have all the cards in his hand. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about Hezbollah or about Netanyahu, 1 week of heavy strikes on suburban of Beirut or on South Lebanon or on Bekaa Valley, it's okay. I think Hezbollah lose some of his arsenal, but Israel doesn't hold 150,000 missiles. Israel doesn't kill tens of thousands of military of Hezbollah. Mm-hmm. So we still at the beginning of the war, and all the scenario it's on the table. Up to now, it's not regional. Up to now, it's not out of the hand. It's still under control and having the deterrences, and Hezbollah having the deterrences at the border, because Israel trying since 1 week to incursion the border with Lebanon, but up to now, there is he doesn't have the control on one village at the border of South Lebanon.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Gibran, now looking at the diplomatic efforts, do you think Netanyahu's prolonged series of assassinations in the past few months will heat up the region, belittling all diplomatic efforts to reach some sort of a ceasefire?
Well, I think the only thing that will help to ceasefire is a serious decision taken by the United Nations Security Council. And the best, let us say, the best way is to implement the United Nations Security Resolution 1701. This is the best way to reach a ceasefire and to have peace in this region.
Yes, but do you think the assassinations, this series of assassinations, are affecting the negotiations, are affecting the mediating efforts to reach a ceasefire?
No. These assassinations will lead to more escalation and more war and more destruction. This will kill more people only.
Mr. Hammoud, now, do you feel that these assassinations are affecting or going to affect the operations taking place on the ground between the Lebanese side, Hezbollah, and the Israeli side as well, and also affecting what's taking place in Gaza?
It helped him to push, for example, Hamas, or to push the opponents to come on a table for a negotiation, like what happened in Gaza when the airstrike killed or assassinated 3 sons of Ismail Haniyeh and I think 4 or 5 grandchildren. So it was the aim of Netanyahu to bring Hamas, or the leader of Hamas in Gaza, As-Sinwar, on the table of negotiation to free or to try to make the return of hostages, to push to solve the problem of the hostages. Hostages. So, but it gave more motivation for Hamas to wage more operation against the enemy. So sometimes the Netanyahu using that kinds of assassination, okay, just to bring the others on the table. But meanwhile, we know what's going on. It's by the blessed of United States of America. If the Biden administration is serious, it was possible for them and the international community to put an end of this savage and war and the atrocity in Gaza. Because even the assassination of the Secretary General of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, and before him in 1992, the Secretary General Abbas al-Musawi, that struck by the helicopter. Mm-hmm. It is a humanitarian and a war crime. If we follow the Amendment 8 of Rome Statute, and if we follow the Article 2 of the United Nations, of the Chart of the United Nations, and if we follow in 1907, the Article 23 of the Hague Conventions of International Law. So all these articles, it's against a political assassination. So that's we call it humanitarian and political assassination. What happened in Lebanon and what's going on with Ismail Haniyeh in Iran, and all that program of assassination. Yes. And some assassination created a diplomatic problem, like what happened in Jordan against Khalid al-Mash'al.
Well, Mr. Gibran, yes. Mr. Gibran, now after Netanyahu's speech to the Lebanese people, do you think Lebanon could really face the same fate as Gaza? Does this speech constitute some sort of a clear and present danger for the Lebanese population?
I think it was a very dangerous speech. I think the Lebanese people are very smart people. So they want to have a fight with no reason, first of all. Then we should stick together, especially at this time. We need more solidarity. We need more the help of the free country. And for sure, it's the United States of America. It's on the top. And all the free world in Europe and all the United Nations and the Security Council to help us in this issue, because it's very serious and there is no solution except the implementation of the 1701.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Nahi Gibran, the military and strategic expert, and Mr. Ali Hammoud, the political analyst and expert in international relations. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here on Think Tank.